Hi, this is Paul Palmer and
Natasha Todorovic Cowan. How you doing? Hey, Paul, I really love that picture. Looks like some unhappy people, looks like some pretty in charge people. What's going on there?
well, I thought today we'd talk about the manager that's no longer in connection with his not really connected to his team, because we've had a lot of opportunity over the last year, 2 years, however long it's been, for people to focus on their own personal development, and because they're in their own space, they don't realize that they're not bringing their team along with them. Now, one thing I don't know how long ago, if you've got a team that you need to actually deliver, if you leave them at the beginning and you jump to the end, they never catch up, and you end up having to go back and bring them in, bring them in and up with you. In fact, thinking about it, it was my first supervisory role, and I remember it's quite funny actually. It was in QC, analytical QC, and we were it was in the manufacture of bulk solutions, and they were doing the analytical testing, and I'd had multiple discussions not in the room. So I was working with the production team, and I came back to the person that was doing the testing, and my approach was different to the previous manager. And I said, no, you can't just keep testing it until it passes. You have to report the results. You have to report what actual results come out from testing the bulk solution. And this lady that had been doing the job for I don't know how many years just walked across the room and kicked the box from one side of the lab to the other. And I thought, oops, I upset somebody. And I wasn't being horrible about it. I just said, no, if the results are the results, you don't just keep testing and testing until it passed. Because we had this when you look at the distribution curve on testing, analytical testing, you can tell if you've been testing into compliance instead of giving the actual results. Because instead of a normal distribution, you get like a straight edge at one side. So say this is the bottom edge of the spec. You find that it goes up and down like that and tails off to the right. But all the data on the left, you discarded. Oh, it failed. So we discarded that data. Well, that's a bias that you've introduced that's no longer representative of the actual concentration of the active in the product.
Yeah.
So it does that.
Well, okay, so confession time. So sometimes I will find myself in the store looking at the spot where something should be, and they're all out of stock, right? And it's like, it should be here. So I keep looking as if it will magically appear, right? So that woman's thinking, and the thinking of that is, it should be right. Therefore, the test is wrong, and I'll keep testing. But it's not a conscious thought process.
Well, it was because of what she'd been instructed to do previously.
That was the right way. That was the right process.
But if the manager is so far disengaged from the team,
yeah,
they just stop.
So I have a different view on engagement, right? Because most people think of engagement as they're doing stuff, right? And probably if you ask that woman, she was doing what she needed to do. However, she wasn't doing the right things. So the core, I believe, is not engagement as much as it is connection. The leader connected to the people that are on the team, the leader connected to self, the leader connected to the end goal and outcome. So when there's cohesion and understanding of who's who and what's what, you can get engagement, because engagement follows connection.
Yeah.
So I think we were chatting a little bit earlier, and one of the guys that I'm working with can't get his team on board. And I mentioned he'd been really working hard at developing himself, making sure he was upskilling, making sure he knew technically, from a technical perspective, what needed to happen. But his team refers to him as arrogant or out of touch or scary or whatever. And it's a misunderstanding on both parts because he's very technically minded and struggles with the relational stuff. And a lot of the members of his team are very technically inclined as well. So the gap is in that connection between folks, and his languaging says, I'm struggling with their engagement because they don't do what they're supposed to do. They don't follow what I say. I know, this, and they need to just do it. And that's all true. And they're not going to do it if they don't feel a connection to him, if they haven't chosen him as a leader. So the image that you have, where the folks are kind of looking down, that is the checking out.
Yeah.
And checking out comes from lack of understanding of what they're supposed to do, a feeling that their contributions aren't welcome,
Or valued.
or wanted, or even they are being personally rejected. So it's so easy to crush the desire to contribute. And people come to things with the desire to contribute. That's easy to crush.
I remember that from a previous discussion about, I don't know, how many weeks ago now, one of the teams that I'm part of, the manager doesn't value the contribution from any of the team, and as a result, the team are not delivering their best. Yeah. Oh, why should we bother? She's going to change it anyway, so just put in the basic.
So I have a question for you, and this is a little bit teaser. So we've got a leadership summit coming up. What are you going to talk about on the leadership summit?
I'm going to talk about participative leadership.
And why do they understand participative leadership?
Sorry, say again.
Why do folks need to understand that? What's important? When they get that, what are they going to know? What are they going to be?
It's about leading by example. It's about being involved and in a way being part of the team. So when I'm working with a team and I'm participating in the actions and the service provision or the delivery of whatever it is, I find that you'll get more a closer relationship with the team. And actually, I find that they can be more open. So by being more, I suppose, closer to them, they feel that they can say something, and they're not going to get rejected out of the fact that they don't know what I'm expecting. And it means that I can actually get more out of participating myself as well, because they then either follow suit or contribute their part of it. And when I've done it without participating, because in previous roles, when I've been told by the manager, oh, you can't commit to any additional resource, and you can't do this and you can't do that, I've been on the outside of the team instead. And to be honest, I much prefer being in the leadership role. I don't know if it's because I want to tell everybody. It's not because I want to tell everybody what to do. It's because I like directing the outcome of events. And I suppose getting the most out of the people, because
you've got a bigger picture view, and you've really worked on that connection, communication. Who is this person? How can they grow as a result of our relationship?
Yeah, I'll tell you an interesting. Hopefully, it's an interesting story.
Wait, do we have time for that, or should we do that for the next one?
Let's do it on the next one. Yeah. Okay. That's it for today, everybody.
You guys.
Paul Palmer and
Natasha Todorovic-Cowan
talking about leaders who are developing themselves but not engaging the team. Talk to you soon.